So we're going to talk about sadhana. If you want to do bhakti, then the way you begin with some sadhana. Sadhana means, it's a Sanskrit word which means practice. So it's like if you do yoga, you have a yoga practice. If you play an instrument, you practice. If you're into sports, you practice. And so you practice to attain or achieve a goal. So what's the goal of sadhana? The goal of sadhana is love. The goal is a full realization of bhakti. The goal of sadhana is to bring out the bhakti in your heart. So the ideas, or what the Vedic scriptures or the sacred texts of India teach, is that bhakti or devotion or love, as we were saying earlier, it's inherent within us. But it's covered, just like the sun gets covered by clouds. It doesn't mean the sun's not out, it's just not out to our vision. So we as spiritual beings become covered. And so spiritual practice is meant to uncover our essential nature. So it's not that you can just think your way into purity or feel your way into purity, but there has to be actions which demonstrate the devotion. So that's the tradition of sadhana practice. So what are the practices? Well, kirtan. A lot of people know about kirtan, chanting, group chanting of mantra. That's a practice, that's a bhakti practice. And that kirtan, if you've ever been in a kirtan, you can feel it's interacting with your heart. You can feel your essential spiritual nature, which is to serve, the desire to serve, and the desire to overcome your own limitations, self-interests, how should we say, the focus on what we call Maya, the world of illusion, the world of I, me, mine, I want, I don't have enough, it's not big enough, I need it bigger, this is not making me happy, he's not making me happy, she's not. It's all about us, me. So bhakti is all about God and service and helping other people in relation to God. So when you're doing kirtan, you feel that consciousness shift, where that devotion becomes stronger. I mean, it's an actual experience. It's not theoretical. You definitely feel it. In the same way, another practice of bhakti is called japa. And japa is private, personal meditation, where you're chanting mantra on beads and you're counting as a vow you make. You'll chant so many mantras. You have 108 beads, and then you count them. And I chant 16 times 108. It takes 2 hours every day. So that's one of my main bhakti practices. It's actually not one of the, it's the most important. Personal chanting of japa. Then another bhakti practice is the study of sacred scripture, sacred teachings. Because what we hear is affecting what we think, it's affecting our consciousness. And what the Vedic literature teaches is that spiritual sound vibration, the teachings of sacred literature, the Sanskrit verses, when you read them, when you recite them, it goes in your ear, but not only goes in your head or your intellect, it goes to your heart. It's a different level of vibration than just ordinary sound. Because ordinary sound is what we hear. And if we just hear ordinary sound, we stay ordinary people. But if you hear extraordinary sound, then you become extraordinary. And you hear transcendental, spiritual sound, you become transcendental or spiritual. So the sacred literature, the sound is spiritual. It's directly connecting with you as a spiritual being, and it's uplifting you. So it's a very important practice. And if you have spiritual books that you read, like Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, then you'll see if you study them on a daily basis, it nourishes your intellect. It gives you a very sharp, clear way of seeing the world and seeing yourself and seeing your place in it. And you begin to get a broader vision of what life is and who you are. Because most people have a vision of themselves as just a physical body. And if your vision is just your physical body, then you think, I was born in this state, and then I'm so many years old, and then I have probably so many years to live. So you think within that realm of this life. And there's no connection with, did I exist, any existence before? There's no connection with what will happen in the future. So this is everything. So your consciousness is very focused on this physical body. This is who I am. This is my identity. And this world, this is my playground now. This is all I know. So I want to make the best of it. Everything. I want to get everything I can and enjoy as much as I can. But sacred literature brings your consciousness way beyond that you're not, number one, the physical. Number two, you didn't just come to existence at birth. You existed long before that. You, as a spiritual being, always existed. And you will exist beyond this body. So this identity, it's not really who you are. It's just it's what we call false ego. You think you're that, but you're not that. So by hearing spiritual literature, it broadens your perspective. So now you're not existing in this world thinking, this is everything. I've just landed on this planet. This is all there is. I only have so much time. Let me just accumulate as much as I can. Let me get as much enjoyment as I can. Let me do it all. No, you're not in that consciousness. Your consciousness it's different. Now your consciousness is, I'm on this planet. I'm here. Why? What's going on? What am I supposed to learn? Where am I going from here? How can I go up? Is there something else beyond this? So this is what sacred literature leads you to meditate on, to think about, to question. What else is there? What else is going on in this universe that I should know about? What's going on beyond this universe? What's going on beyond after death? What's life supposed to teach me? Am I supposed to be going somewhere, understanding something? So that's the importance of hearing sacred literature, because it broadens your consciousness to be able to focus on things other than what's happening right here. You know, like the news. People are addicted to the news, right? Got to get that newspaper and read it. Got to get the news on the internet. Got to come home from work, click on the news. It's all about what's going on right here, and it makes it seem very important what's going on here today on this planet. This is just one speck in the universe. And this is one moment in eternal time, and we're all absorbed in it. That's called material consciousness. Absorption in this world, in this moment, in this physical dimension. Sacred literature takes you out of that perspective and says, no, you're just a speck and this planet's just a speck in a very big universe, and there are many universes. And the other thing that Vedic literature teaches, which modern man has a very difficult time understanding, accepting, is that this is not the only place in the universe where there's life. I mean, we say we think we're great, we think we're self-centered. We humans think we're the only people in the universe. It's not true. You study Vedic literature, it talks about all grades of life on different planets. Kind of broadens your vision that there's life on other planets. Did you know, I don't know if anyone ever told you, did you know there's life on the moon? And did you know if you go to the moon, you can't see it because they don't have physical forms like this? Vedic literature teaches this. Of course, people will question that because they can't see it and it's unbelievable and this and that. Anyway, that's another topic. But hearing from spiritual literature is very important. Now, one of the most important practices for someone doing sadhana, aside from chanting and hearing, is called sangha. We're going to talk more about sangha. Sangha means being with people who are interested in spiritual life, who practice spiritual life. Because if you're not with people who are interested in spiritual life, they'll tend to bring you right back down to this world. Hey, did you hear what happened to Joe? He just got divorced from Sally. They had a huge fight, and it's a huge breakup, and she's trying to get the house and the kids. Really? Really? And then that's where your mind is. That's where your consciousness is, right? So people who are practicing spiritual life into yoga, who want to elevate their consciousness, they want to be around people who will discuss other things that are more important. They want to be around people who inspire them in their spiritual practice, because this world tends to go that way if you haven't noticed. And if you want to do spiritual life, you want to go that way. And you want to be around people who are going that way, because if you're around people going that way, you're going to tend to go down with them. And even if you don't have a strong desire to go this way, if you're around people who are going this way, you're going to go that way with them. That's the nature of association. So in the next section, we're going to talk about association a little more. But the other principle that you can do, a bhakti principle, is prayer, connection, opening your heart to God, speaking to Him, letting Him know what's going on in your life, putting your hands up, saying, I need help. doing that every morning. And then what a lot of bhakti yogas do, a lot of practitioners do, is they have little altars with pictures of their guru and deities, and every morning they offer incense and flowers and prayers. So that's maybe a more advanced stage of bhakti. But what they also do is, before they eat anything they cook, and it can't be meat, fish, or eggs, they offer on their altar, and it becomes spiritualized. So that's another practice of bhakti. We'll talk about that later, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.